I just got a question and I wanted to answer it in real time on a video because I thought it would be really relevant to a lot of people. So it says, "Hey Alexis, I love bargain hunting. Why would I not just buy the dupe when it looks just like the real thing?" And a few things are coming to my mind as I think about this, but for one, I'll tell you that online they're probably making it look like it's the real thing when in actuality it's not an exact duplicate of the real thing. Does that make sense? So whenever you're looking at like stitch quality, fabrication, little things like that, you'll kind of quickly understand that the dupe is indeed a very much watered down version of the real thing. And even with dupes that look very, very similar to the real thing, if not completely identical. Okay, so here's the thing. There's a few things. One, the original brand exists for a reason. So this original brand has their own ecosystem. They have their own research and development, design, all of these things that go into building a real brand, right? Then you have the dupe, which is basically just a parasitic relationship. They're just leeching off of the real thing. So basically, this dupe brand has no integrity. And to me, I find a problem with that in itself. So I think it's one thing to not know that you're buying a dupe and you just genuinely don't know any better. That's fine. I think it's okay to desire clothing that looks very similar to the original designer one, because at the end of the day, I also love fashion because I believe that everybody deserves to look beautiful in any budget, right? So the design process has always been about iteration and inspiration. That's just how it is. I'm a designer, so it's nothing new for a brand to be inspired by a trend. That's not necessarily the issue. The issue is, again, whenever there's a brand that has no integrity, no morals, they're literally just knocking off a favorite brand. And I'll also take it a step further. Why are you knocking off a $50 brand? Because I see a lot of like Skims dupes on the internet, for example. Skims is already an accessible brand. So for one, I think you're also just being cheap. Respectfully, it's like, why not just buy the original? You know what I'm saying? Why not buy into that brand? Because at the end of the day, where you put your money is where your heart is. So what you're supporting, if you choose that you want to support a brand that is literally just being wasteful to our environment and destroying your mindset of how you perceive clothing as a commodity when it's not, then okay, fine, go do you. But for me, I stand with the brand that has creativity. I stand with the brand that actually invests in creating a whole ecosystem, a beautiful universe for me to be a part of. Because that's ultimately what it is. We're buying into them because we believe in them. We buy into them because they make us feel a type of way. And I know we have brands like Quince, which is also really big for their dupes, and they're very transparent about it, which is great. I would kind of argue that they're not even necessarily dupes. Their designs aren't even really very unique. Honestly, nobody necessarily owns a cashmere button-up cardigan. This is just a more accessible version of it. You're usually always paying a price for it one way or another, right? So whether it's with the quality, which is usually always the first place where people cut corners, and they assume that you as a consumer can't spot what's good versus what's not good, because a lot of us, we're really ultimately buying dupes to keep up with the Joneses. It's not necessarily because it's even something that you want. It's just to stay on trend. You shouldn't just buy clothing just because, oh, you saw someone over there was wearing it and now you think it's going to be cute on you. That's not how this is supposed to work. So slow down. Think about what it is that you're actually buying and what it is that you're supporting. So I would challenge you to ask yourself, do I love this because I actually want it or just because it's trending? I would also ask myself, does this brand have a unique POV? And I would also lastly ask myself, am I paying for a unique design? Okay. Again, where you put your money is where your heart is. What do you want to support as a consumer? What brands do you want to actually see continue thriving? So for what it's worth, I'm not anti-dupe. I'm anti-throwaway. I'm anti-brand with no POV. And I'm anti-consumer mindset that chooses trend and quantity over investment. Let me know in the comments, am I tripping or am I kind of onto something? Take care, and I'll see you cutie pies in the next one. Mwah. Bye.